Hello everyone, it's Mia again and I'm back to do a video tutorial on how to make DIY soy wax melts for a candle warmer. Yes, it is soy wax flakes that I use, so it's a lot easier on your system whenever you're breathing these melts in. And the things that I used for this video, I actually was able to find 2-pound bags of soy wax flakes at Hobby Lobby, and they were $6.99 a piece, and they were actually doing a 30% off coupon. So fairly cheap. And for this recipe, I used 1.5 pounds of the soy wax flakes. So I bought 2 bags of those, and it ended up being $13.98 together, so fairly cheap. And then I also already started kind of mixing some of the ingredients in this one. This one is the cinnamon vanilla latte flavor, or scent, I guess you would say. So what I mixed in already was about 2 to 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then I also mixed in some coffee grounds. I actually just used Folgers instant coffee. They sell boxes of, I believe it comes 12 to a box, but it's like $3. And I used half of this in it. I did melt my wax flakes completely in the microwave. I'm actually thinking about putting it in there for a little bit longer just so it can mix the ingredients a little bit better. And then also I've got wax chunks in here still, so trying to make sure that that's all melted. The next thing that you would put in it would be cinnamon. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle about 1 to 2 teaspoons of cinnamon in here. And then as you go, kind of smell to see if you get the desired scent. You might want to add more or less of an ingredient. Let's see. Okay. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more coffee, and I'm also going to add some more cinnamon. But we did also get some of the cinnamon essential oil. I found this for also about $6.99 at Walmart. Walmart has everything. Let's see. So this one's a little bit stronger as well. The recipe says about 20 drops. I might go at about 10 just to kind of. Okay. Okay. And then we'll add more coffee. And since it is instant coffee, it does kind of dissolve into the wax. I might actually use this whole thing. I mean, hey. Let's see. And I did also already make the lemon rosemary scent as well before I made this video, just to kind of test it out and see. Yep, this is turning out really well. Just to test it out and see, you know, what I needed to do and don't do whenever it comes to the wax melts. So I will show you guys that as well. And I'm gonna add just a little bit more vanilla. And some more of the ground cinnamon. Stir that all up. And then the soy wax flakes that I got, the bag directs that you heat the wax in equal increments, maybe about 25 seconds each time, checking on it and never leaving liquid wax that you're melting unattended. Okay, yeah, that smells good. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in the microwave, about 25 seconds. Okay, and while we're waiting on those, I want to show you what the lemon rosemary wax cubes came out looking like. So these are them. The silicone mat that I got actually makes more for a less amount in each cube. So this one has 18 cubes. I was able to make 2 of the batches of them. So there are 36 wax cubes in here. And I did lemon rosemary, so I garnished with lemon zest and rosemary leaves on the top. You can see, so they turned out really, really well. They smell really good. So I'm a lemon person. These are my favorite. But every now and again, you want to have like a warm smell, like a cinnamon roll, bakey smell in your home. Whereas I feel like lemon smells more clean. It just smells, because I use lemon cleaner and stuff too. So it's, I mean, basically the best. So we're going to put the vanilla cinnamon latte in here, which that just, the microwave just dings. So I'm going to go grab that. Okay, so not as chunky. It's now completely in liquid form. You just want to stir up because you don't want to have all of the coffee grounds and all the ingredients at the bottom. Okay. Yep. That smells good. Okay, so now that you have that, the way that I garnish the lemon rosemary, I'm also wanting to garnish these. Now I'm gonna actually let the wax sit a little bit because it's a lot easier to pour into the silicone mat whenever it's a little bit thicker. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and throw it in the refrigerator for a minute. So while that is sitting, what I want to garnish this with would actually be some of the cinnamon and a little bit of the coffee grounds. So I'm actually gonna mix both of those. Put some cinnamon in here. And we're gonna try to do 1-to-1 ratio. Terrible with opening packages. Okay. And since this is instant coffee, you want to make sure that the wax is definitely in thicker portions, just because the coffee will then just mix with the wax and it'll kind of all dissolve into the wax melt. So you just want to make sure that it's thick enough to where it'll make the coffee stick at the top. That's basically what I'm getting at. And I need a little bit more coffee to make that 1-to-1 ratio. Actually might be more of a 2-to-1 ratio because the cinnamon just kind of coats around the coffee, making it kind of like a lighter brown, which I actually think is really cute because, and I'll show you guys, it makes it kind of look like crystallized coffee. It's really cute. Okay. So this is what it looks like. I've got a little bit of wax in there, so, but it's cute. And so what we can go ahead and do is sprinkle this at the very bottom of the silicone mat. I'm just gonna use my fingers. You can wear gloves or use like a teaspoon. Actually, yeah, no, I'm just gonna use my fingers. And then just kind of sprinkle it in the bottom of the mat. Make a very, very thin, splotchy layer. It's actually better in this situation. And then we can kind of tap the mat to even everything out a little bit more. And I'll show you guys what my mat looks like. Honestly, I think these are gonna come out so cute. Okay, so this is what I have in the bottom of my mat, and that will actually be the top of the wax cube. And again, this does make 2 batches, so that's perfect because we have just enough in here for the second batch, because we will have to garnish again. Obviously, the coffee grounds will be stuck to the top of these wax melts. And these silicone mats are really, they make it really simple to get the wax melts out all in one piece. So I do recommend a cube. The shaped silicone mats are really cute, but they are going to be a little bit more difficult to pop the wax melts out because they have like flowers and all these different kinds of shapes, but there are obviously a lot more detail in those, so it does make it a little bit harder. But I mean, hey, they're still cute. Okay, so I'm going to check on the wax. Okay, so the wax is gonna need just a little bit longer so that we can make sure it's the correct consistency that we need it for. In the meantime, I will explain how I made these lemon rosemary wax cubes. And these I used about, I'd say about 20 drops of the lemon essential oil, and then I did maybe about 5 to 10 rosemary, just dependent on how much rosemary you want to actually have in it. I wanted there to be more of a lemon smell than the rosemary because I feel like the rosemary can be kind of overpowering if you use too much. But if you're using it for like opening pores or that sort of thing, if it's more therapeutic, then you can put kind of half and half, like 1-to-1 ratio as far as the essential oils go for the rosemary and the lemon zest. But yes, I did about 5 to 10 rosemary essential oil, 20 of the lemon essential oil, mixed those together. And then I actually used real lemon zest. I grated the lemon myself, and then used rosemary leaves, which I found at Walmart for like $1.98. And it comes, I believe there are about 3 or 4 sprigs that come in each pack. And then I just kind of ripped it apart and threw the lemon zest and the rosemary leaves in the very top of the silicone mat. And then I just mixed the wax together and threw it in the fridge. So once it kind of gets a little bit thicker, and I will show you guys this consistency whenever the wax does come out of the fridge so you can kind of see what it would look like whenever you're ready to pour. And then I just poured it on top, left it in the fridge for, I actually put it in the freezer so I could go a lot quicker, but I didn't have to leave it in there for longer than about, I would say 15 to 20 minutes. And then once it comes out, you can literally just press up from the bottom of the silicone mat and they pop up. So once you have your container that you can store everything in, and obviously don't want it to be in the heat because then you'll just have a bowl of melted wax cubes. But once you have it, then it's completely finished. So it's relatively simple. It's really fun to get creative with what kind of scents you want to come up with, and you can just find whichever essential oil you want to use and whatever you want to garnish it with at the top, and it's I mean, just so simple, and you save a lot of money. I'm a candle person myself. I like wax melts and candles, so I have both in my home as well as a essential oil diffuser in a different room. So I'm all about my house smelling good, so I'm constantly buying candles, wax melts, all that kind of stuff. And I actually have a big jar that I keep, like a big cookie jar, glass one, that I keep my wax melts in. So now I can kind of layer it with the ones that I actually make. And since this did make 36 wax melts, there's a really big use that I would get out of it, because I would be saving money on the stuff that I normally buy. So, and you can actually also get creative if you want to make a candle itself with this. You can also get really creative and make a candle and layer the candle. And I might actually do another video on layered candles, because that is actually a good idea that I just came up with. So I will actually go ahead and step away from the camera for the moment. And then whenever the wax is ready to be poured into the silicone mat, I will come back and show you guys how I finish out these beautiful wax melts. Okay, I am back, everyone, and I've actually already got one batch of the cubes made. The vanilla makes or takes a lot longer to dry into harder wax or thicker wax than the lemon rosemary, probably because we added liquid, the vanilla extract, to the mixture. So what I've actually went ahead and garnished the silicone mat again for the second time. And this is kind of the consistency. It's a little thicker, kind of like applesauce, but still, and it is kind of chunkier as well. So it's, you know, a lot thicker. But once you have it thicker, it won't mix with the cinnamon that we're garnishing the top with. And it'll dry a lot quicker. I've actually been setting it in the freezer. And it dries, so I'm just gonna pour this into the silicone. Oops, I am making a mess, sorry guys. And the amount that I have, it might be a little bit tricky to fill all the holes, so I'm going to kind of smooth it out, push some of the mixture into each of the holes and make sure it fills up the squares that I have filled. It can get a little messy. So maybe I should have put down some parchment paper first. And I've got a little bit left. I might have just enough. Let's see how thick that is. And you do want to put enough where when you press down, it doesn't kind of bubble or have a hole, because then that means that there's still air pockets within the square, and you want it to go all the way down in there so that the cinnamon coffee garnish that we have will come off onto the wax. So I've got it in there. I'm going to go ahead and set it in the freezer so that that can dry through quicker. And these are the wax cubes that I have finished. So that's what the cinnamon looks like on top. It's very cute. Love these. They came out very, very well. So very, very cute, actually, to have on display as well. Very good idea. Okay, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and set this. There we go. Okay, and while we wait on those wax cubes to dry a little bit more, I did want to explain when you're popping out the cubes from the silicone mat, you might have to, because I overfilled my squares a little bit, but once it's dry, the silicone mat makes it really, really easy to where you can kind of break the wax around the edges and it pops the cubes out kind of, I mean, almost perfectly. So to get that shape, it's not really that difficult with the silicone mat. You'll want to break around the cube and then press up to pop the cube up out of the mat. And then you don't want to do it too soon. You want to kind of feel on the top whenever it's in the freezer just to make sure that it's dry. Obviously, if it's not dry, then your fingers will kind of go down a little bit. It'll be a little bit softer. You want it to be as hard as possible so that you can pop them out smoothly. And then, I mean, they'll sit by themselves. So. But that is basically how it's done. It's relatively simple, cost effective, and then it's not too harsh to breathe in. There are no harsh chemicals. We used all essential oils and natural ingredients. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let us know if you have any questions on it. And thank you so much for watching.